Well, it's great. I mean, it's brilliant to have it. Quite unexpected, and thanks to all the food writers over the years, they've given me and other colleagues in the cheese business lots of coverage and lots of publicity. And no, it's amazing. I'm very thrilled to have it, and it's very nice to have it. Yeah. Well, yes, when we first started, and you're right, Veronica, of course, was the great starter of all this, and she was a good pal, and she really gave me a good shove up. And then, of course, Jana then took on as well, and we had great. I always remember Theodora Fitzgibbon years ago in the Irish Times doing an article on cheeses that were being made then, and there weren't very many, and some of them aren't there anymore, but it was such a lovely article, and I always think that kind of put us on the road to people recognising the Irish cheeses as being an important part of the food culture, which the food culture was only really just emerging then, but the cheeses, I think, really helped the food culture along. And of course things have changed so much now. People travel more and eat more different things, and I mean in those days having cheese that was produced from the milk from the land in Ireland was quite a novel thing, because we don't have a tradition of farmhouse cheeses here, and the tradition now has grown, so we've got like a new culture of farmhouse cheese, which enabled new cheesemakers to come in and make cheese from their own style. We don't have restrictions on the type of cheese and the way we make it as they do in France. It's a new culture of cheese making, and I suppose in a way that's a really good thing. I know when we started the Presidia for raw milk cheese, we had cheeses from all over Ireland. We didn't concentrate on one particular type of cheese. I think now that there's more, some of the cheeses that were started then are very well established and worldwide known. Well, actually, my cheese isn't made with raw milk. No. The only cheese that I make one cheese from raw milk now, which is the Dunmanus, and that's the cheese we make that in the summer from summer milk, from raw milk only. And I made raw milk rind wash cheese with white Durrus for many years, probably up until about 6 years ago.
That's where I came from then.
Yeah, it was always raw, and then I started to experiment with for different reasons with heat treated milk, and then I discovered that I really liked it, and other people really liked it, and I think because it's a rind wash cheese, it's still a very difficult cheese to make. It's an unusual cheese, so it's the rind washed softness of the cheese that makes it very individual. I don't think it really matters that it's heat treated milk rather than raw milk, and yeah, there are a lot of restrictions with raw milk. I think if you were making a hard cheese, using raw milk is probably a very good thing to do. That's why I really love to do our Dunmanus, which is the raw. But with a soft cheese, which is what I wanted my Durrus to stay as, a soft, semi-soft cheese, it's slightly more difficult, a bit more problematic. So I suppose if a cheesemaker was coming in and they wanted to make raw milk cheese, I would say, please, try the harder ones first. See how they do. Oh, it's like choosing a wine. You go for what you want. You go for what you like, what you want to eat. I don't think there's anything that it's totally subjective, isn't it? Taste. And if you want something that's you can identify farmhouse cheese, which is going to be a little bit less consistent than a factory-made cheese. But there's some very good factory cheese. Some of the factory cheddars that are made in Ireland are excellent.
I mean, Bendenville does quite good work at the moment, yeah.
And I love the Dubliner. I mean, they are great. I really do think that the milk in Ireland is very good. I mean, we have an excellent milk supplier, have had for the last 25, 30 years now. It's been the same supplier since I sold my own cows.
Yeah.
And the milk quality is extremely important. And I think the fact that the cows are out on grass for a substantially longer time than the rest of our European comrades. Certainly seems to be a lovely attribute to the industry that there are the younger generation taking on our cheeses. Entrepreneurial spirit perhaps, but I'm sure in other countries there are also second generation, people who've got a family business, a farm family business. You'd often find that the next generation would follow on with it. It's very nice to have that happen. Let's just hope that their expectations aren't quite as hold up like ours were. We didn't have any expectations when we started. I think there's always room for expansion, as particularly if a really interesting cheese comes along. Yes, I think so. We feel you get to a certain level of production and then the necessity to export a little, because we are only a small island and there's only a certain amount of cheese eaters, so if you want to have a moderate production, you are in a position where I think you have to export a little as well. I think there's always room for expansion if something nice comes along. It's people's taste, it's getting something that tastes good. If you've got something that tastes good, it's going to sell.
Jeffa, again, congratulations on this Lifetime Achievement Award, well deserved, absolutely. And here's to many, many more awards for Durrus Cheese.
You're very kind, thank you.